I get to spend a few minutes with one of Forbes' 20 inspiring young female founders, Shara Senderoff. Shara, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
In your Twitter description, it's kind of the essence of who you are. And in 140 characters, it says co-founder and CEO of Intern Sushi, film executive and producer at the Mark Gordon Company. I believe in magic, and I want to change the world. So how did you go from movie making to becoming the CEO of Intern Sushi, and what was that pivot like?
It was really actually a natural change because when you're producing movies, it's all about problem solving and it's all about hiring the best talent that can put your movie together. And that's what being a CEO is, and that's what running a company is. It's literally putting out fires, 100 of them a day, and figuring out who to position around you to create the best masterpiece you can create.
And was this an idea you always had?
Yeah, this was an idea that I came up with in college out of an internship where they asked me to clean the walls with 409. And I said, I gave them this look of, really? You want me to clean the walls with bleach after I've spent 5 weeks up until that point building IKEA filing cabinets? And they said, yeah, and if you won't do it, one of our 30 other interns will. And so that's when I realized that they had just mass hired. They didn't know the difference between who each one was. They had no idea where we went to school or what we could bring to the company. And so that's when I realized there was a problem. So I went home and I wrote a business plan, and the idea was to create a website where individuals could present who they are from not only where they went to school, but what they dream of and what they love doing and what their passions and interests and hobbies are, in addition to the experience that they've had and the skills that they have to obviously land an opportunity. And I then went into the movie business, and from there it was an idea that I just could never let go of, and it sat in my back pocket, and I tried to put it together in different ways. And then I went to my boss, Mark Gordon, who I've been working with for 8 years, and he said, this is an amazing idea and I want to be a part of it, and I want to create something that can mentor young interns and that can show them that they don't have to have a friend or a parent or someone in the business. They can enter it and they can break in solely on their talent if they have a way to present it.
So how does Intern Sushi change the hiring process? You know, it sounds like you create short films. Mm-hmm. And what is the purpose of that?
What's really interesting about the current hiring process is that we're stuck in this world of keywords where recruiting managers and HR representatives and any sort of hiring manager is literally searching on LinkedIn or searching on Google for specific keywords. And they're telling candidates, if you want to get through our system, you have to be a keyword. When how much more than a keyword are we all? So much more. And the problem is that the recruiters are looking at those keywords as a way to save themselves time. And so they end up bringing in candidates who probably put those keywords on their resume just to get in the door, but they don't actually have those skills. So then finally, when someone does come into the door, they end up hiring them because they list relevant skills that a company believes that they want. They're not spending time looking at a candidate and saying, you know what? This person has talent that we never thought we needed, but think about where this could take our company if we had something like this. Companies are in a place where they're competing against everyone in the startup world and in corporate America. Everyone has to succeed, and we're fighting for the best talent. But how can we find talent within a keyword? We can't. And it can't define somebody. So what Intern Sushi is doing is completely reinventing the process so that you can show so much more than that.
So you changed that by doing videos, or can you tell us?
We changed that by creating a digital profile that allows anybody to bring their story to life. They can use videos, images, portfolio items, samples of their work, anything and everything they believe tells their story. So we all have iPhones, we all have a million photos in there that we take every day based on the things that we love. Who said that those aren't important in the hiring process? We're getting into jobs and we're starting our careers that are 50%, if not more, of our entire lives. Why wouldn't we get into something that is the right fit for us? Instead, we're trying to be something that we're not, just to get in the door, just to show the keyword that everyone's looking for. When if both sides take a step back and look for what moves them and what inspires them and what will go on to change their companies, then we'll have a better, more long-term match between candidates and employers.
Great. So right now, you're in a period of hypergrowth. Mm-hmm. And you're dealing with the rapid expansion of your company. How's that going? How are you doing that?
It's difficult. It's difficult because we are under such pressure to achieve the goals, whether it be recruiting new users, whether it being pushing those users into premium so we can generate revenue. And what's really interesting is that I'm hiring a lot of different people in a lot of different roles, and I'm looking at the expectations that they set for themselves and the expectations that I set for them and where they believe those two meet. And it's really interesting to watch people within a particular position and how they analyze their work and how they are able to, whether they're able to achieve continuous improvement and continually look at their strategies and say, this isn't working and how can I change it to better it? And it's interesting in the startup world is you have to be that way. You have to be willing to change at any minute. You have to be willing to say, you know what, I thought I had a brilliant idea and it wasn't so brilliant. So let me throw it in the trash and come up with another brilliant idea. It's interesting because I love fantasy football and I play fantasy football religiously. I change my team, I drop players. And it's exactly what I do when I run a company.
It's your management style.
Yeah, it's my management style. It's like, if I can't put you in the game, why am I going to have you on my bench? I need people in the back so that if someone gets injured, I can throw somebody in. Run a company according to fantasy football.
All of this wisdom in a young woman who's only 27 is remarkable, but there's still a kid in you. I know you have this Disney thing. You posted The Lion King the other day on your Facebook page.
I get my wisdom from Disney movies. I mean, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, I put them all in because I think that Disney movies have the most simple of messages and the most simplistic reminders of what we too often forget. And I think what is amazing about The Lion King is that it reminds you to be brave, but it reminds you that you don't have to go out and look for trouble and you don't have to go out and look for ways to be brave. You just have to be brave when the situation arises.
What is your 3-part manifesto for students and other entrepreneurs and people who are just getting started?
I would say that you always have to have higher expectations of yourself than anyone could ever have for you. If that's the case, you'll never not meet somebody else's expectations. And in order to do that, you always have to believe that good enough is never good enough, and that you can always be better, and that you can always do something better, and that you can always aim to achieve greatness no matter what level of task you're working on. And I think from there, in the end, it's ultimately about being as smart as you can, then looking at your ideas and evaluating whether the strategy you put into place is the best way to get to the goal you need to achieve. And if it's not, admitting that it didn't work and starting again and coming up with a new brilliant idea day after day after day.
If you could talk to the young intern who's being told to scrub walls with 409, and she's scared to quit because her resume, she really needs that internship on her resume to get a job, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to keep scrubbing walls, but bring in new ideas for how to do it better and how to do it more efficiently. And if they say, go scrub this wall, we need to get this done until you can do the next task, figure out a way to do it as fast as humanly possible in order to get to the next thing. And then bring in ideas on how to better their movies and how to better their TV shows. And the things that they're not asking you to do, you can still do those things just because they're not asking. It's up to you to take the reins on your career and on your future. And you can't wait around for somebody to ask you to do something. You just have to do it.
So give yourself permission.
Yep. Give yourself permission.